Evam parampara praptam Imam rajasya vidu Imam rajasya vidu Sakalena ahamahata Sakalene ahamahata Yogo nasta param tapa Yogo nasta param tapa. Thus handed down from one to another, the royal sages knew it till that yoga was lost to the world through long lapse of time, or oppressor of the foe, meaning Arjuna. Note that Shri Krishna says that this yoga was almost lost, not lost completely, because if it got lost completely, there would be no way to attain it again. If there's a person in perfect health and slowly his health keeps getting worse and worse, so in the end only his breath works and he can't eat anymore, then a doctor will have hope that he's not finished because he's still breathing. There's a very nice word for this in Gujarati and Sanskrit, means nabi shvas, where you not see them breathing in the nose, but you see them breathing very slowly inside. While that person has that breath, then you can say that he will be able to live. It's possible if he keeps getting his medicine, he'll be able to live. But if that breath goes, then there'll be no way of him living, because you cannot live without breathing. In this verse, Shri Krishna is saying that this yoga was slowly and slowly getting lost until it was almost completely lost. Truth never gets destroyed. This yoga is truth, it is wisdom. Supreme wisdom never gets lost. It looks like it may get lost, but it never happens. In reality, wisdom does not get lost, but people close their doors to it. People themselves go far away from it. Sunlight is always there, and when we close all our doors and windows, there's complete darkness in the house. We can't say that the sun is not there. This is wrong. The sun is there, and it will come from somewhere. For example, a slightly opened window or keyhole. When the one ray of light comes in, then this is a very good sign, because maybe someone in the house will have a wish, if not today, then next year or in 5 years' time, that they're wasting their time sitting in darkness and they should open the window so that sun comes. The sun has not gone anywhere and was always there. This one ray of light proves that the sun is there. The sun cannot go anywhere. So at one time, every person in society had this wisdom, but slowly people began getting far away from it, and only one person in 10,000 remembered it. Therefore, it did not get lost, and this one person in society is a ray of light. By holding the little finger of this ray of light, you can reach the supreme wisdom. This knowledge was handed down from one to another, or what does it say? Parampara. Second word in the first line, parampara. You must understand this word parampara properly, because the modern mind thinks that everything that is old is useless. There's a very famous saying in Gujarati that can be translated that old is gold, but the modern mind thinks that old is worthless. No one does what elders say. When elders tell you to do your prayers, then you say no. Why? Because they are elders, and you won't do what they say. When people say that old is useless, then this is extremism. It doesn't last long, because when someone says that something has no use now because it's old, then someone can reply to them, why? Why is that so? If you say that old has no use, then why can you not also say that old is good or old is gold? On the contrary, this old is a foundation that has lasted for thousands of years. Parampara has a strength. It is a rule of existence. In the river of time, rubbish can never float. It may seem to you that the rubbish is floating around in the river, but the river will throw it out. The pure always flows with the river. However much rubbish you throw into the sea will never keep the rubbish and throws it out. You don't see it in good beaches, but you see it in Brighton and Bournemouth. You see the rubbish back on the seaside. The rules of the sea or the river are the same in the river of time or the sea of time. The precious gems always stay deep at the bottom of the ocean. The sea does not throw gems back on the beach. You have to go deep down to get those gems. You can find all the rubbish outside on the beach. Whatever rubbish there is always gets thrown out by the sea itself with time. Truth always flows with time. If this yoga has lasted for thousands and thousands of years, then it must have had some truth to it that has lasted. Parampara has the strength. In the Gita, Shri Krishna has given three names in this parampara. In the first verse of this chapter, in the first verse, he said the sun god Manu Ikshvaku. In the Shanti Parva of the Mahabharata, there's an explanation in some very nice verses where this parampara is made clearer and given in more detail. It says, Yaditam Saptanam Janma Padmanam Brahma Rupa Taitre Sudama Kathi Taswayam Narayan Nama Pitamasha Dakshaye Sava Metam Puradata Tato Devashina Nidita Pradat Dakshanam Rupto Tatman Tato Jeshad Aditya Savidut Vishwanjagrut Hetata Tet Yugat Vochucha Visvashat Manadekava Manushya Loga Bhutam Sutta Yoksha Vetgava. Brahmaji had seven births, and in each birth Narayan gave to him this knowledge. Brahmaji gave this wisdom to Daksha. Daksha gave this knowledge to his eldest grandson, and he gave this knowledge to Vivaswan, the sun god. At the beginning of the Treta Yuga, the age of Sri Ram, this knowledge was given by Vivaswan to Manu, because in the Satya Yuga before that everyone had it. Manu gave this wisdom to Ikshvaku. Therefore, the parampara was that Narayan, the Supreme Soul, gave it to Brahma, Brahma gave it to Daksha, Daksha gave it to his eldest grandson, the eldest grandson gave it to the sun god gave it to Manu, Manu gave it to Ikshvaku. Manu and Ikshvaku were born in the Treta Yuga, the second age. You must remember one thing when you try to understand the word parampara. If you try to translate parampara, it means tradition. Parampara is not just tradition, there is something more to it. It is a continuity. The Ganga river starts in Gangotri and goes through Prayag. We call this a Ganga. There is a lot of difference between the Ganga in Gangotri, where it originates, and the Ganga in Prayag. In the Gangotri, the Ganga was pure water, but by the time it got to Prayag, then it got joined with many other rivers and the rocks, but it still remained pure. This is what parampara is, continuity. To take another example, when a lamp is lighted, it will have a flame. A diva is lighted, it will have a flame. This flame may stay alight the entire night. When we see the flame the next morning, then we think that it's the same flame that was there the evening before. This is wrong. Scientists say that it's not the same flame because flames are so temporary that they keep coming and going. As soon as one flame goes, a new flame comes. Throughout the entire night, old flames kept dying and new flames kept coming. This is therefore a continuity of the flames. Then in the end, the ghee runs out and the last flame flickers before going off. And only then we can say that this flame has gone off. In reality, that lamp is lit at all times. An old flame goes and a new flame comes. This is what parampara is. To get even a simple example, is continuation from a great-grandfather to grandfather to father to son to his son. This is parampara. This is where the family tradition is protected. Something goes, but something still stays. The bodies go, but this parampara still stays. This is parampara, something that is continuous. When Shri Krishna says parampara, then he's meaning that there's continuity. When Shri Krishna says in this verse that this yoga was almost lost, he means that no one knew it at the time. It was forgotten. Newton came and discovered the law of gravity, that the earth pulls all people and objects towards it. What exactly did Newton do at that time? This quality of gravity in earth was always there from the beginning when the earth came into existence. Newton found the law and gave it his name, Newton's law. He did not invent gravity, he discovered it. This was a hidden property of the earth. He gave it a name. We all know that Newton discovered the law of gravity, but if this law gets forgotten 200 years from now, and say if all of the books on this earth get burnt, and children's at schools, they'll never have this law in education, but the fruits will still fall down from the trees, they'll not go up, and maybe after 500 to 600 years, a scientist may come up and realize the property that the earth has of pulling people and objects towards it. He may then give it a new name according to the language at that time. The earth has always had this quality of gravity. In the same way, Shri Krishna says that this yoga has been around forever, and he's saying it again to Arjuna. Why did this yoga get lost? Many commentators of the Gita have given the reasons. The first reason is that after the Treta Yuga, in which Manu gave this knowledge to Ikshvaku, there came the Dwapara Yuga, where there was no great personality who could describe this yoga. That's why the yoga was forgotten. That is why, at the end of the Dwapara Yuga, in the Gita, Shri Krishna said it. At the end of the Dwapara Yuga, Shri Krishna said that he would be going in 7 days, and at the end of this period, the city of Dwarika will go underneath the sea, and Kali Yuga will come on the earth. Therefore, the Mahabharata took place at the end of the Dwapara Yuga. Parikshit's life, Parikshit of the Srimad Bhagavat, he is the grandson of Arjuna, his life story in the Srimad Bhagavat took place at the beginning of the Kali Yuga. Therefore, the first reason why the yoga was forgotten was that there was no great personality to describe it in the Dwapara Yuga. The second reason was that this yoga was around in Dwapara Yuga, but it came into the hands of people who were ignorant, undeserving of it, and unrighteous. This is what is written in Srimad Adi Shankaracharyaji's commentary. That is why this yoga didn't become that well known and was forgotten. A lioness's milk can only last in a golden vessel. If the thing that's the best, it's the best thing, but if the person looking after it is useless, then what will happen? If a grandfather has earned millions of rupees and the son has nothing in him and does not know how to save money, then what will happen? It will all go away. A person who gets this knowledge must know how to continue it. The people in the Dwapara Yuga did not have this. This reminds me of a joke. Kachalal had not come back home even though it was midnight. The people in the house started getting worried about what happened to Kachalal. He came back at 1 o'clock in the morning and he used his key to open the door. When his wife saw him, she started screaming. His clothes were torn, his hair was messy, and he was bleeding everywhere. His wife asked him what had happened. Kachalal said that he had met 4 or 5 thugs who tried to rob him. At first he didn't want to give anything away and he said no, but they beat him off and they took his cufflinks, wallet, jewelry and all his belongings. His wife told him that he keeps a pistol with him, why doesn't he use it? She asked him why he did not use it. Kachalal picked up the pistol from his pocket and told her, look at how well he looked after it. He said that he did not let it fall into their hands. His wife told him that if he had used a gun, then it would have protected him. It was to protect him that the gun was given to him. If he had got beaten up so much and brought his gun home, then what right did he have to that gun? In the same way, this yoga is full of light, it's full of wisdom, but in Srimad Adi Shankaracharya's commentary, it said that this yoga was passed down to people who were ignorant, undeserving of it, and unrighteous. The third reason why it was lost is because of craving and wrath. In Srimad Adi Shankaracharya's commentary, he gives a fourth reason. Vichina Sampradaya Samrutra, meaning the parampara of the community became broken. This is why this yoga got lost. Thinkers say that this is eternal yoga and eternal knowledge is so great that at the time it was so fragile that people had to make a lot of efforts in order to protect it. It doesn't stay in one's hands so easily. You have to keep on making several efforts to protect it, but it can still feel like it's slipping away from you. Rabindranath Tagore was very close to his death, and his friend came and sat next to him. He held Tagore's hand and he pressed it lovingly. He told Tagore that he was very fortunate and he should have a lot of pride because he has written over 6,000 songs in his life. Nobody has even done anything like this in modern times. He wrote such beautiful songs on God and other beautiful things. His friend told him he must be happy. Tagore said no, that he was very sad because a song he wanted to sing to God, he was unable to sing. His friend told him, what about the 6,000 other songs you have written? Tagore replied that these were his failures. He had made efforts to write the song he wanted to sing, but it just turned out as scribbles. The song he wanted to sing remained unsung. If such an intelligent person as Tagore had a thirst to sing a song for God, then this knowledge can never get completely lost. This knowledge just got forgotten. Shri Krishna addresses Arjuna here, look at the last word of this verse, as Parantapa, which literally means oppressor of warriors. But Shankarananji has defined it as when one attains Brahman, he kills the great warriors of craving and wrath. Srimad Adi Shankaracharya writes, Atmava vipasya puta paraya ichante tan shorare tejo navasti bhimanhu tapati iti param tapa. One who bravely, with the rays of the sun, kills the adversities of the soul is param tapa. That's how Shri Krishna describes Arjuna. Verse 3.